Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. Shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Where I was just like, what on earth do I normally say there? Just my brain froze. Yeah, what should we talk about? You know what we can... I mean, I haven't actually seen either movie, but I guess we can talk about, the Barbie and Oppenheimer thing. If you don't know what's going on, if anything, it's actually a little bit relevant because a very similar thing happened to the release of Animal Crossing. But if you somehow don't know what's going on, there's two big movies being released last Saturday, I think. Barbie and Oppenheimer was Saturday? I don't know. Hello there, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow at 6:07 PM on Monday, July 24th, 2023. Yeah, so there's two movies being released, Barbie and Oppenheimer. I don't actually know, anything about the movies except for their names. I'm not, particularly invested in either of them. As you know, I tend to be more invested into animated movies because I like animation. that's basically the long and short of it. But Barbie is, it's got a lot of big names in it. I don't remember who's playing Barbie. Is it Margot Robbie? That sounds right? And, who's playing Ken? I can picture his name. No, I can't picture his name. I can picture his face. I don't remember his name. Oh my god, what is his name? it's very much gonna... Part of me wants to say Jake Gyllenhaal, but I don't think that's it. I think that's someone else. No, that's someone else. Who's this guy? Jake Gyllenhaal is... Where do I even know you from? I don't know where I know you from, but I know you from somewhere. No, who's in it? Barbie, IMDb. Such big names that I don't remember their names. Ryan Gosling, that's a name. I could not think of his name there, but there's a load of other people who are probably also famous, but not to me because I don't know them. But anyway, the long and short of it is it's got a load of big names, and it's about obviously one of the most popular. I don't know if the most popular toy franchise. It can't be the most popular toy franchise. The most popular toy franchise has to be Lego. There's no way it's not Lego, right? I don't mean franchise in general, because I think the most popular franchise in general might be Pokemon now. I'm not really sure, but the most popular toy has to be Lego, surely. Lego is so globally renowned. I mean, Barbie's also pretty globally renowned, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it's renowned everywhere. It might be. I genuinely don't know. But I don't really know what Barbie's about. I know it's about Barbie and Ken. I have no idea what the plot is. I don't intend to look it up because maybe I'll watch it at some point. I've heard good things about it. And I've heard it's very emotional, I've heard from a friend that people cry at it because of, I don't know, to be honest. I don't even know what themes it necessarily delves into. But it sounds pretty cool, Some people might be up in arms about it, in which case I say, okay, and then promptly ignore them. Because so we can actually, have a more structured conversation from, a place of good faith and interest, by saying, hey, we're going to start with the same foundations rather than, trying to chip it and tack away underneath using random arguments, I suppose. I don't really necessarily know about random arguments per se, but, it's not exactly something I'm controversy is controversy, basically, sort of thing. You'd be like, is this something which is controversial, or is this something which is quote controversial? And this very much seems like a thing where it's just I don't think it's controversial, and I don't really know. And if it is, then whoops, I guess about me talking about it. But yeah, but basically Barbie's been released. Obviously it's very really colourful. It's obviously very inspired by the toy line in general, which is very colourful. There's a lot of femininity in it, I suppose. About, these dolls. It's got a childish innocence to it, because I suppose it's normally children who play with Barbie dolls. But of course, Barbie, I think in general, is the sort of iconic thing for a lot of people in their lives. And you... Okay, maybe not everyone. Not everyone necessarily played with Barbie dolls. I did play a bit with Barbie dolls when I was younger. Not a huge amount, because I didn't have all that many. I was actually not that interested in Barbie dolls. I was much more interested in teddy bears and that sort of thing. But yeah, so there's no two ways about it. Barbie definitely is some sort of cultural icon in pop culture, right? I'm not sure pop culture is the right word, but she's even super popular in the 90s, Is it 90s when she must have been before 90s? She must have been 70s or something, right? I don't know if that's too old or whatever, but anyway, she's iconic is basically what I mean to say. And certainly it's something which is cashing in with a nostalgia sort of factor, the retro factor. I'm sure. I mean, you don't get to be as popular as Barbie, I suppose. I think the most defining thing to be like, how popular are you? Is other people are trying to ride your coattails, right? There's things like Bratz, which is also ended up carving its own niche, as like Polly Pocket. There was, I don't know, I guess Monster High is kind of like the more modern, like a Y2K version of Barbie, but I don't know. It's not hint of it. Anyway, it's obviously got a very sort of pastel, bright coloured, fancy, cutesy, stylish sort of, it seems like a sort of like Wonderland Dreamland style of aesthetic going on. And it's been concurrently released with the movie Oppenheimer, which, again, I don't really know too much, like, the details about it, but it's about constructing the atomic bomb, the nuclear bomb. The one which, from World War II, which obviously is a very, extreme measure. Wartime, of course, is no joke in general, and a nuclear weapon is perhaps the most extreme, or maybe one of the most extreme things which has ever occurred in wartime history. It was horrific, shall we particularly say. Not saying a war particularly on either side is particularly good, and maybe this is where, if you're a historical or historian in general, you could probably jump in here and be like analysis about World War II and like what led up to the events of that nuclear warfare, I suppose, in general, and how it affects modern society as we know it now. It's actually something we studied a little bit back in GCSE history, because in the UK it's very common to study the world wars in history during school time, rather than like ancient history, which I think becomes more common in like A-level times. I'm not sure. At least that's what I did for GCSE. We basically did everything up from the start of World War One all the way up to the end of the Cold War, I think. Is that about right? I don't remember. So that's why most of my historical knowledge, I think, is concentrated in that era. But yes, obviously, if you haven't heard, during World War II, there was a nuclear bomb dropped on, constructed in America. I don't really know more details about it. It was a Manhattan Project, wasn't it? But Oppenheimer, now I think about it, sounds like more of a German name. Was it someone? Is that actually what Oppenheimer's about? I think it's about the construction of nuclear weaponry, isn't it? Where's the synopsis? The film's the chronicles of J. Robert Oppenheimer, a theoretical physicist who was pivotal in developing the first nuclear weapons as part of the Manhattan Project. Yeah, okay, there you go. Which eventually led to, I suppose, one of the ending points of World War II. And it's a very serious subject, and obviously it's very sort of dark. I'm not sure brooding's really the right word, because that, I describe Batman as brooding. I'm not sure if I describe Oppenheimer as brooding. Maybe like bleak is perhaps the word I would use for it. At least that's the impression I get from it. It's very dark, it's very bleak, it's obviously, probably going to examine the darkest parts of humanity, of life, war, or conflict, and all these sort of things in general. And I suppose, therein lies the musing. What's the word for, not contrast, where when two things, is it it's not idiosyncratic, that's a different word. Idiosyncratic's like instructional or something, isn't it? Peculiar, individual. Okay, never mind. It's not the word, it's there's a word for when there's two things in very strong contrast to each other, next to each other. Not oxymoron. Something. Hold on. Synonym for contrast? There's a distinct word I'm trying to think of, but I don't know what it is. Not incongruity. It feels like to me it's like an art juxtaposition. There we go. And the fact that they're both being released on the same, well, have been released, I suppose, on the same day. In the UK, July 21st. Yeah, that was last weekend, right? Last Friday? Yeah, last Friday, my word. Both, like, this very pastel-coloured, bright, vivid, probably happy movie. Well, I've heard there's sad things about it as well. Barbie being juxtaposed against, this very dark, bleak, horrific, to say the least, I suppose, thriller sort of movie in Oppenheimer. I suppose it's quite funny that they're both being released on the same day. I don't know if they sort of like try and not piggyback each other, but sort of trying to hype each other up for the fact that these two are being released, because I don't think they're like made by the same studios, or even like, I don't even think, apart from the fact that they're being released on the same day, they have any connection. Or it might do. If they do have a connection, and it was actually a secret marketing ploy, then congratulations on the marketers on that. It was a fantastic marketing ploy, a fantastic marketing job, because you knocked it out of the park. But they're both basically hyped up movies because they're both directed by pretty good directors, right? Like Oppenheimer's Christopher Nolan. I can't remember who Barbie is, but she has done some other good stuff. Because I remember looking at who it was, and I was like, what has she done? Greta Gerwig, that's it. And I was like, whoa, that stuff was pretty cool. I think, didn't I? She hasn't done as much as I thought. I thought I did look her up, and it was like, yeah, I'm a Little Woman, obviously, Lady Bird. But these aren't things I've seen, so I don't know why necessarily. I don't know. Anyway, maybe I just read that somewhere. I can't remember. It's been ages. Yeah, obviously, there's a lot of hype around these movies. I suppose the fact they're releasing concurrently is kind of like a fun package deal, which I've got to assume. If you're a marketer and you see that sort of opportunity, you're like, yes, this is the time, we could be annoyed that, we're going to have competition on the same sort of day, or we can use this to go to viral success, I mean, it happened, as I said, with Animal Crossing New Horizons. Obviously not something planned, but Animal Crossing New Horizons, made by Nintendo, very cutesy. I mean, you're watching it right now, very aesthetic, calm, cozy, comfort game, being released on the exact same day as Doom Eternal. I don't know who made Doom Eternal. I want to say NCSoft, but that does not sound right in the slightest. Doesn't NCSoft make like Maple Story or something? Oh, Guild Wars, okay. Bethesda, that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, was it Doom Eternal? Probably was Doom Eternal 2020, that sounds right. Being released on the exact same day, which is, Doom Eternal, if you don't know, is a very hardcore, very sort of like gory, gutsy, bloody sort of very violent game. And the juxtaposition of them two being released on the same day was hilarious enough that the internet, I suppose, took it into like virality by being like, oh, isn't it so funny that there's these two very, very different games on the complete opposite ends of like the, I don't know, softness spectrum. It's not really a spectrum I'd use, but you know what I mean, right? The juxtaposition of them is very extreme, and it's fun. It's funny, isn't it? I remember lots of memes about it being like, oh, there's two people, like one person who's like a heavy metal rock or whatever, buying Animal Crossing New Horizons, and then just like a young girl or like 8-year-old, like doll, not literally doll, like wearing like a dollhouse dress or something, buying like Doom Eternal or something, There was a lot of memes of it back in the day. If you weren't around for that sort of thing, if you weren't around for that something, that'd make you probably like 2 years old. In which case, I don't know necessarily what you're getting out of watching this video, but fair enough. But yeah, I mean, it was a very funny release, wasn't it? The juxtaposition of the two. There's been a lot of crossovers. There was that crossover song, I remember, of like Isabelle singing and like Doom Eternal. There was like a metal thing. I can't remember. Like, it's 3 years. Okay, you're gonna have to cut me some slack. But this very much feels like a repeat of that sort of situation. I don't know if it happened before, like before the Animal Crossing one. Like, had it happened the previous time? I don't know. It very much needs the right sort of thing to happen. I can't imagine. No, I can. Sorry, wait. How do I phrase this? I can only imagine that every marketer who saw how much publicity that both those games got, how many people went out to buy both games to support each other, were just like, right, can we do this like for any of our releases? Find an opposite, juxtaposed, game or media property to also release on the same day and try and also get it into virality. It kind of needs a perfect storm because both media property needs to be independently like hyped up in their own right, and they need to have like a big enough gap in, I suppose, their aim and aesthetics or whatever, that it makes it comedic, I suppose, for them to like have that crossover, right? I suppose this is sort of like a second coming of it, although I haven't seen as much, like meme-ified about it with Barbie and Oppenheimer compared to like Animal Crossing and Doom, which I saw so much fan art for, which maybe I guess is something which lends more to fan art than Barbie and Oppenheimer does, but whatever. Anyway, but I'd imagine, I don't know if it was planned, basically. I don't want to be like, put tinfoil hat on conspiracy, because it's like the most benign conspiracy if it happens, being like, oh, if it is true, whoa, it turns out the marketers did their job like really well. Then fair enough. But the thing that probably makes it not planned is the fact that it's being published by two different companies. I can't imagine two companies are like, hey, do you want to take a risk and release, both our films on the same day, and we'll compete against each other's profits? I think most people would rightfully be like, no, So it's probably just an accident. Probably what they do is they like do market research on when the best time to release a movie is, and this is like, you know, Friday's like peak time or whatever if you're Hollywood or something. And then it's like you want to get it, you know, just as school's out or something. I don't know. As school's out doesn't make sense because I imagine Oppenheimer might be like 18 or mature or something. But yeah, I don't know. But there's a lot of people I hear doing like the double feature where they watch one and watch the other, and apparently it's very sort of like emotionally taxing. I'd imagine, because Barbie is not so like bright and full of sunshines as people might expect, as I understand it. I haven't seen what the reviews are like, but I've heard good things about it. Will I go and watch it? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to be against watching it. Like, I don't, as I said, I didn't have like any draw to really go watch it. I'm not like, wow, I want to watch this movie. But as I said, there's very few movies where that happened. I was like, I want to go watch this movie. The ones I can remember were Frozen, because of the song Let It Go. It was so viral. Puss in Boots 2 and Spider-Verse 2. And maybe 1 as well. I don't really remember if I wanted to go see 1 or not. I think I was interested, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't me initiating a conversation. I very rarely initiate these conversations with my friends about, let's go see this movie. So when it is, let's go see this movie, and I do it, and they're like, whoa, dear darling suggested a movie, we have to go see this movie now, because it's such a rarity for me to actually say it in the first place. So it's not at that level where I'm like, yeah, I have to go see this movie. But it is a thing where I'd be like, I am interested in seeing this movie, but I'm not jazzed about it. Like, not enough that I would go and watch it. You know, not enough I would go and suggest watching it. If I don't see it, I don't really care, I'm going to be honest. But I've heard very good things. So, you know, if you had seen them, if you want to see them, if you do see them, will see them, won't see them, I don't know. You know, do tell me about, you know, experiences, or I guess lack of experiences, because I mean, if you tell me about the fact you haven't seen it, then that doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I mean, if you've seen them, basically, just like, are they good? Is it worth watching? You know, I've heard it's certainly worth watching. You know, from a friend who's seen Barbie. She said it was pretty good, so I was like, okay, you know, fair enough, maybe I'll go watch it. But again, that's the sort of thing I say to everything. Maybe I'll go watch it, and I proceed to never watch it. Not like out of malice or anything. I just don't get around to watching things, to be honest. I guess most of the time when I want to do something recreational, I want to do something video game related. I like to have that sort of layer of interaction, which is ironic considering how much I like story games, I suppose, which tend to take away some of that agency in lieu of telling a story. But I don't know. I guess I want to. Things I'm more invested in are what I'm invested in. So yeah, Barbie and Oppenheimer. It's a interesting combination. I wonder if it's something which is on Know Your Meme. Know Your Meme, because that's normally a good thing to track, like, internet trends. Barbie versus Oppenheimer. Clash of the Titans. On April 26th. Attached to early promos of the films, the tweet gained roughly 32,000 likes in 1 year. No, 32,200 likes. First of its kind. Discussing film. A slew of memes. Okay, you know, slew of memes. Spread, you know, whatever. Same picture. Did they do any, like, joint advertising, marketing thing? Because I swear Animal Crossing and Doom did. They did some, like, thing where they promoted each other's games or something. What if it's a split screen? Anyway, which one am I slightly more interested in watching? Probably Barbie, because the fashion looks on point. Like, Barbie, of course, is known for having a whole slew of, like, outfits and, you know, the fashion and a ridiculous wardrobe and what, you know, crazy, like, large wardrobe. So I'm most interested in seeing, like, the costume and set design in Barbie, because from what I've seen, I've seen the trailer for Barbie, and I was like, this looks awesome. You're like, this looks like someone like out there, like a set designer, just had an absolute whale of a time probably coming up with these ideas. I'd imagine. I don't actually know if that's true. I'm just guessing, but still. Yeah, I guess we will round this episode up here. I don't know. Yeah, let's round this episode up here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been dear darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope you see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.